Yo, 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 yo. What it do? I'm your boy Ben Goose, and it's a beautiful week. We had a good week in wrestling. I'm here with my boy Sage the Mark. Did I cover that okay?
Yeah, man. I mean, you did it good, man. Put me in the show. I don't have to do it no more. I'm gonna have to put a clip in or something so that way we don't have to keep saying it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I might have to get a quick dub of you saying Sage the Mark. Yo, let me start off by saying we're already starting off hot. We went live, or we started the pre-live, where you could log in if for those of y'all that watch us live, and we already got a comment. Bro! Shout outs to the Wrestling Network. We've already gotten comments here. So what it do, man? How you doing? How you doing? This is a good week.
Well, yeah. I'm just glad it's almost Friday, man. That's all I gotta say, though, man. But hey, what happened up with the BET Awards, man? I mean, I was hearing like a lot of crap going on with it on Sunday. What's the dealio on that?
What, you asking me because I'm a man of color? You
No,
just because.
I'm asking you because you black.
Yo, you first off and foremost, you shouldn't ask because I'm black. But I did watch it
But
because the black in me said, "Man, I know something's good on TV." Oh yeah, the BET Awards. So I decided to watch it. And then the Indian side of me was like, "Man, how am I fit in with the black people this week?" Oh, I'll talk about the BET Awards. Man, I'll tell you this. Here's the thing. I love rap. I love music. Right now, I'm going through kind of an electronic music kick. The Skrillex, Diplos, David Guetta's. I'm going through the EDM cycle. But hip hop, let's talk about that for a second before we get into this week in wrestling. What what up, Stephen Thatch? You already in the chat. You know how it is, boy. I had to put a beating on old Stephen Thatch. He gave me his name on Xbox One. We played Friday the 13th. You heard me give a shout out to Friday the 13th a couple weeks ago, and I had to put a hurting on the boy. Had to put a hurting on him. Had to kill him. No, he was Jason. He killed me. But either which way, I digress. The state of hip hop, man, it's not what it used to be. It's not what I wish it was. Not what I wish it could be. What do you think?
yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's not really even existent, man. It's not about, I don't know, man. Like when hip hop to me was just like it was easy going, it was fun. It meant something, and I don't know if it's because I'm older or if like literally it's just everything's just about getting money, man. And I'm like, yeah, but how many songs, how many reiterations of getting money, can you make? But I mean, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a big fan of like the mumble rap and all that. But you know what? Would I mumble rap to get signed to a multi-million-dollar contract? I probably would. And in the chat, Stephen Thatch is asking, did you see DJ Khaled at EDC? EDC is Electric Daisy Carnival. Just went down 2 weeks ago. Huge carnival with the biggest names in the electronic community. Man, I'm almost committed to checking that out next year because from the videos I saw of it, it was amazing. And DJ Khaled said he had technical problems with his mic that we've all experienced. Me and you are new to the podcasting scene. We've been doing this, what, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 months now. So we
Yeah.
could certainly understand the technical difficulties that go down. Now, when I mentioned technical difficulties, we talked earlier, we talked a while ago, Money in the Bank review. Was it a look, I'm doing the quote sign. Was it a technical difficulty that James Ellsworth helped Carmella? Yes, no, maybe so. Either which way, you said to regain the credibility of winning it. Remember right, Carmella should win the next Money in the Bank, which we had the second female Money in the Bank this week. So let me ask you this. Do you want to go should we go straight into it and just go straight? Let's start SmackDown first, then go into Raw?
Sounds good,
And
man.
then
Sounds good.
let's do it. So SmackDown this week. The only First off, let me say I thought Raw was better, one of the few times, but only because AJ Styles did not wrestle on SmackDown. Kevin Owens did not wrestle on SmackDown. Shinsuke Nakamura did not wrestle on SmackDown. So just those three statements alone, you're going to have a show that, I'm not saying SmackDown was bad. It was actually pretty good, with the exception of the Naomi squash. So, but you know, I'm summarizing. Money in the Bank. What do you think?
It's definitely, to me, it wasn't as good as the first. I really thought that the first was perfect the way it was. You accomplished what you wanted and what you've been showing us a history in the last couple of months that you have, which was to create controversy, and everybody everybody liked it. And shout out to 210 Wrestling, my boy Mel Johnson. He has a good old forum that he let us show some love. So appreciate you joining us, buddy. But they shouldn't have messed with it, man, because now this one, although I'm glad that Carmella won and it was the right move for her to win this one, it kind of sullied the Money in the Bank, the women's Money in the Bank. So that's the part that I didn't enjoy. But I will say the upside is that we got like 25-30 minutes of women's wrestling to close the show, which I am absolutely happy about. The downside is that we've got like 12 commercials in between that. No picture-in-picture. I just I feel like we can't catch a break, man.
You know, I thought good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I'm not knocking on it. I thought that the match was good, and I really think Carmella winning it helps solidify her as the Money in the Bank, the official winner. If somebody else won it, and Stephen Thatch put in the chat, you know, what about Charlotte? What about Charlotte? What about Charlotte? You know, Stephen Thatch is going to do every week. You know, our boy, he's a routine listener, Stephen Thatch.
Get out of here, son. Get out of there. You know Charlotte's going to get a match before we hit Survivor Series. Charlotte will have at least 2 matches for the title, so she don't need it, man. But you know what? Let me ask you, man. I was pulling. I wanted Carmella to win. Don't get me wrong, but I would say that the MVP for both Money in the Banks, call me crazy, I felt it was like Tamina.
I could see that. I think that Tamina looked strong in both of these matches. She looked good. I wouldn't say. I think people might hate me for saying this. I think, and Stephen Thatch in the chat will love me for saying this. But I think that Charlotte still looked. Charlotte proved in both of these Money in the Bank matches that she's, at the end of the day, she's still pretty far ahead of most the women in general. Not extremely far. And we've debated Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, but athletically, she's just, and in the ring and on the, like, the overall picture, she's just above. And I'd have to say Charlotte. I thought Charlotte did amazing in the matches. She sold well. She had her high spots. Becky Lynch did pretty well because she sold a lot. She was kind of the underdog people thought would win and want to win in these matches, and I think that she did good. I liked Ellsworth's part. Man, I love it because this past 2 weeks on SmackDown have really put Ellsworth in the position of, I mean, people love this guy. Not even 8 months ago, the tail end of last year, not even a year ago, people were loving his fights as a face against AJ Styles. And now he's become, in the women's division, one of the most hated heels, which has lit a spark, which is, because, I mean, let's face it, there's only, 6, 7, 8 women in any division. So throughout the course of the year, the 8th woman is going to fight the number 1. Like, you're going to see a bunch of rematches. But you throw Ellsworth, a skinny guy, in there, and then if you think about it, people complain about, oh man, Ellsworth interfered in the women's Money in the Bank. That doesn't count. It doesn't count. Well, hey, guess what? WWE did it right. And let me tell you why. It's because you're talking about it. WWE got people talking about it. And I know a lot of I don't mean to rag on them, but the fanboys out there are going to think, did another Money in the Bank because they're listening to us. No, they didn't. WWE makes a lot of money, and if they could have a pay-per-view on their own network, mind you, on their own network, where they control what ads go on that network, and say, hey, what if we do this? so that way we could show it again in 2 weeks, and it'll still be just as big as today. No, of course you take that a million times out of a million, right? What do you think?
I absolutely agree, and it irks me to see that people are actually calling to fire Ellsworth, because it's like, and my thing is that before Ellsworth got into the women's division, Carmella was flat. No one liked her. No one paid attention to her. No one liked her promos. Like she was completely flat. You put Ellsworth as her manager, like she is relevant. She's on top of the game. She is cutting great promos. Everyone is invested. Her stock has completely risen. Why would you fire somebody that is doing exactly what you want? What you want? I mean, I don't get it why people are complaining that. I mean, it's just I just find it funny, man. I absolutely love it, man. I sit back every week trying to see how they're going to elevate, Carmella, and I'm hoping that something similar will happen to Tamina, man. Is she needs it, man. I think they could build her if they build her right to be the monster heel. I mean, just like Nia Jax on Raw, which we definitely going to talk about. I think that they could have something special with the limited time that they have on SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned a great thing when you mentioned Nia Jax on SmackDown. And that's the thing, is that the women has been a huge focus. And when I look at our live listeners here, well, Mel Johnson, shout outs to Mel Johnson, Mel Silky Johnson. Will WWE ever bring the women's tag team belts in? Unfortunately, I don't think so. I wish they would. I think that it could be something cool. The only issue with that is that they don't have enough women to really make it work. But I think that another title in the women's division in the future might be able to work. And I think what plays along with that, and that's a great question because it ties into one of my thoughts, and I mentioned this the other week in the Money in the Bank predictions, is that I'm happy with the Money in the Bank now because I know in a year from now, when we have the Women's Money in the Bank 3, like I said, we're going to have Nikki Cross, we're going to have Asuka. There's just women that are going to be called up, and Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, like there's just a lot going on in the women's division that we could plan around for the next 2 years. You look like you got something to say, or you got to drop it.
Oh, I just had an epiphany, man. Oh my goodness, check this out, son. And Mel Johnson, you hit a spark, man. Shout out to you and the 210 crew at 210 Wrestling. I just want to let you know, man. What if the women's tournament gives way to having a 1-hour program for just women, straight women wrestling, and they did just like 205 Live, but they did the women's title there as well as they did a tag team title, women's tag team title. I mean, I think it could work, man. You have 2 main titles on one show, an hour long. You have every week, you would have the women wrestling on Raw or SmackDown, likely SmackDown since Raw has the 205 Live. What would you think about that?
So let me ask you this. Is Main Event and Superstars, are those done? Do those still come on?
They actually do come on, believe it or not.
On TV?
And yeah, they're on Hulu. I don't know what channel they come on, but they're on Hulu. I think it's Superstars. They're still on there.
So I think you could do a women's show. I mean, why not? The network will take any content they need, and at the end of the day, it really is just keeping the cameras rolling wherever they're at to film a women's show. Mm-hmm. The only issue I would have, you know what I think it would be best? I think it'd be best if they filmed it after NXT, or maybe kept it to the smaller arenas, because I think the marks, I mean, we all know the marks are the majority of the crowd at NXT, but maybe if they filmed it before NXT or right after NXT shows, I think that could be pretty cool. That way, you take the women out of NXT and then you just have a women's show and it's its own thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that just give the women their own show if you're going to go that route.
So Goose, real quick, man, your boy's doing it live. We're live here on YouTube. It's Real Wrestling Podcast. A special guest, man. We got a fan from the street. So let me see if I can bring him on real quick here. Now we're going to introduce him to the world. Okay?
Yeah. Are you serious?
Good with that? Yeah, serious, man. Serious. So you're talking to the mic here, and I'm gonna put you on right here.
All right.
Yo. Bear with us. We're changing mics right now.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yo, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Just I saw your friend here, and I heard him talking about wrestling, and I'm such a huge fan. Like I follow it. I watch from all kinds, from ROH all the way down here from the local stuff here, and yeah.
Wow. Yo, what's your name, man? Give yourself some props. Give yourself a shout out.
Well, actually, I'm Antonio Luna, and I'm from San Antonio. I'm 31, and like I said, I'm a huge fan. So so here's my first question: will Samoa Joe beat Brock at Great Balls of Fire?
So, Antonio Luna, you're from San Antonio. I appreciate it. Shouts out to you, man. I really appreciate you joining in, man. I really do. Will Samoa Joe beat Brock Lesnar? The answer is 150 million%. The answer, unfortunately, I'm sorry if this disappoints you, but the answer is no. And the reason is, I would love to see Samoa Joe, and I love that I met somebody else in San Antonio that goes to ROH, because guess what? ROH started coming here about 3 years ago, and I've been to just about every ROH event here. So I'd love to see you out there. We'll get you an IRWP shirt if I get a chance to see you out there. But I think Samoa Joe is going to lose, so Brock Lesnar looks strong, and he fights either Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. What do you think?
I was actually thinking the same thing, only because I like Samoa Joe, and I followed him for quite a while when he was in ROH, and then when he went down to Impact and stuff like that. And I know he's fought a lot of great superstars along the way, from AJ Styles and so forth. But I think personally, it's just I'm a huge Brock Lesnar fan. That's why I asked. But the only issue I have with that is just that he rarely defends the title, and I understand he's not a full timer, and I understand that he's signed on for, I'm assuming, the veterans contract and stuff like that. But I would like to see Lesnar actually put that belt on the line a lot more. And if anybody, I would like to see it happen at SummerSlam with somebody great such as Braun Strowman.
So do you think Samoa Joe's going to lose then?
I think so.
Okay, so in that case, do you think that Strowman's going to beat Roman Reigns and then go on and beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam?
Yes.
Wow, bold statements from Antonio. Bold statements. So do you think,
I actually see it happen.
Do you think that it's going to be, SummerSlam is going to be a dual show, like it's going to be SmackDown and Raw, right?
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on, do you wish, because right now it's not this way, do you wish that the Money in the Bank winner, which was obviously Baron Corbin on SmackDown, do you wish that he can go back and forth and he could pick which heavyweight title or universal title he goes after?
Yes. I thought, in my opinion, that's how it was going to be, since he did win the Money in the Bank. I thought, like, I understand that he's a SmackDown superstar, but I also was hoping that he would have the opportunity to actually go either to Raw or his own show on SmackDown Live, and actually be able to cash it in on either one.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. I was actually hoping for the same thing. So Sage the Mark, Sage, the guy standing right next to you, Sage and I had this idea, and let me know what you think about this, Antonio. We had this cool idea that what would be cool is what if Baron Corbin won, and what if Carmella won, and on Raw they keep teasing that Carmella's going to cash in, so everyone thinks, wait a minute, Carmella could go to either show, but it's a surprise and it's a twist at the end, and Baron Corbin's the one that cashes in, defeats Brock Lesnar after a tough match, or defeats anybody really. Well, I think that'd be pretty neat. What about you?
I I also think so as well, only because if and I would like to see that happen either at SummerSlam or at the grandest stage of them all at Mania.
I agree. Have you been to a WrestleMania?
Actually, I have. I went to WrestleMania. If I'm not mistaken, it was 27 when John Cena fought The Rock and The Rock won.
What city?
It was in Miami, Florida.
You went to them? Oh, now that tops me. So I've been to 3 WrestleManias. Sage and I are probably gonna go to our 4th in New Orleans. And that Miami WrestleMania, that was a solid WrestleMania. Well, Antonio, man, thanks for joining us. I don't know if you go on YouTube often, on Twitter, whatever you go on. Follow us at IRWP. We'd love to have you as a guest. We'll tell you how to log in and call in and everything, man. I appreciate you stopping by, bro.
So your friend here, and I just heard Cena's name, and then I was like, is he sitting in front of a laptop talking about WWE? And then I was like, yes, he is, because as I got closer, I heard him talking even more. And I was like, how awesome is that? I thought he was hosting his own show. So I said, well, then I think I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be an audience. But actually, he was talking to you and stuff like that, and which I think that's great. So I'll be sure to follow you guys on IRWP and stuff, and actually just log in just so that I could just hear your show.
Yeah, log in. We go live every Thursday. You'll see Sage the Mark there. Maybe next week. This week might be the last week that he's hosting it from his local facility. But if not, tune in, because we'd love to hear from you live. And real quick before you go, will Shinsuke Nakamura be champion in less than a year? Yes or no?
Yes, he should be. Yes.
Perfect. Shout outs to Antonio. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to follow us on YouTube. We're going to give you a shout out. Next time ROH is in town, we'll hit you up and try to get you a shirt, and then I'll meet you at ROH. I think they're going to come actually in September or October.
September, October. So super quick question right before I hand it all back. So how do you feel that Cody Rhodes is finally at the top of the mountain? Because I was very excited when he actually took the ROH heavyweight title from the fallen angel Christopher Daniels, and I just thought, like, I just felt that WWE didn't use his talents the way he should have been. I don't know. I can go on and on, but how do you feel about Cody Rhodes as ROH champion now?
So I feel
the
good,
club, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, and he's leading the club actually. So I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was something that it caught me by surprise. I've actually started in January. I've started trying to keep up with NJPW a little bit more, because I need to follow it better. Because that's where that's where all the talent's coming from.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all of them: AJ Styles, the Bullet Club, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, who's going to be huge. I'm a huge fan. So I thought it was great. One thing that I think is nice is that he's developing his own name and his own brand. I think that he's eventually going to end up in the WWE in about maybe within the next 5 to 10 years. So a long time, but he'll be a bigger name. Props to Cody Rhodes. He left WWE to go do his own thing, and he's successful at it. So I love it. I'm a fan. I love it.
All right, it sounds good. Well, I'm going to hand it back over here to your friend, and thank you so much, and I'll be happy to follow you guys.
Yeah, you're live, so go on. Literally, like, by the time you get home, the podcast might be done, but by the time you get home, you can go on and see yourself. You're live, and you're going to be on it when you go on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you look for a podcast. Look up IRWP. It's Real Wrestling Podcast. You are live 100%, and you're going to be on the show this week.
Sounds good. Well,
All right,
here we
brother. Have a
go.
good one.
Thank y'all.
Happy 4th.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Have a good night. Be careful, okay? And we're back.
You planned that shit, right?
I didn't plan it. I swear I did not plan it, but it was great. We love having fan interaction. We've been saying that for months and months. If you want to be on IRWP, see us broadcasting, sit right next to us like Antonio did. We'll get you on, or give us a call, 419-777-IRWP. On Twitter, y'all know what the deal is. We even on Instagram. Hit us up on Instagram. Let's go.
All right, y'all. We're out. Oh, wait. We haven't covered Raw yet?
No, sir.
Oh, I thought we were going to end on a high note. And shout outs in the chat.
But you said Raw was better. What are you talking about?
Shout outs in the chat. Melly Mel Johnson. He said that he went to the one in Dallas. I was at the one in Dallas. Mel Johnson, if you can get a chance. I don't think I put, actually, you know what? I don't think I put, I'll have to upload the pictures. So Melly Mel, I was in Dallas too so that weekend I drove up there Saturday and I made the biggest mistake of my life. I drove up there Saturday and I went out to a bar on Saturday, and I knew I was going to WrestleMania Sunday, and I had one too much to drink, so I wasn't feeling too good on Sunday, but I got the win back about 4 o'clock, and right when I got the win back, and Mel Johnson, type in the chat if this happened to you, because it happened to me. I went to WrestleMania, parked in the parking lot, had a couple of cold ones, and tailgated in the parking lot, met some really cool wrestling fans, and when I walked up to get into WrestleMania, there was a long line because their Wi-Fi or something like that went down, so I pretty much stood in line outside of the Jerry World, outside of Cowboys Stadium, for like an hour and 20 minutes, just sitting there in the hot sun, waiting to get in. It was terrible, long wait, long line, but I had a great time at WrestleMania, and I wish I would have went to Raw the next night. I do see in the chat you mentioned you went to the whole Access events. I went to the Access events in Houston. Don't sleep on those. Anybody who goes to WrestleMania weekend, I would recommend going to the Access events, going to NXT TakeOver, because they're always before SmackDown, or before WrestleMania. Go to WrestleMania, go to the Raw afterwards, because it really is. It's like Comic-Con. It's an all weekend event type thing. So yeah, I had a blast, Mel Johnson. So thanks for interacting with us. But yeah, on the Raw, you said Raw was, or I said Raw was better earlier. I do think Raw was better earlier, just because it had a little bit more star power to it. Samoa Joe, I was just talking about Samoa Joe a minute ago, and Samoa Joe choked out Brock Lesnar for the most part. So how do you think the buildup? Great Balls of Fire's in what, 2 weeks, or a week and a half? What do you think about the buildup to Samoa Joe and Brock?
I like it, man. I like the fact that they're making Joe seem big. Like this is going to be a credible threat, an incredible fight. A credible fight, a credible threat to Brock Lesnar. I don't think we've seen anyone, not even Roman Reigns, be built like this, which is fantastic. It's we know that they're both two legit MMA fighters. You know, one's more professional than the other, but they still got both the backgrounds. Joe is this badass that we've always known him to be. They can both work really, really stiff, which is great too. And then you won't have to worry about suplex this and suplex that. We're actually going to see Brock Lesnar work, which has been most of our criticism while he's had the belt and defended the belt, is that he hasn't really worked outside of suplexing everyone and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's actually going to be a match. I think they've built up Joe to where he could be a tough opponent to Brock Lesnar. I think it could be something that's really cool that they do. I mean, it's going to be a good show. I think it's going to be a good show overall. I mean, I'm going in just like the past 2 pay-per-views with low expectations. But you know what? For us wrestling fans, it's a fanboy's dream at the end of the day to see Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe in the ring at the same time. So I'm all right with it. You know, I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it. I think it'll be cool. They've built up Joe. And even though I think he's the underdog, and a lot of people think he's going to lose to Brock, if you think about it, the Coquina Clutch, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns are both not tapped out, but passed out in it. So it gets this credibility, and it's just a modified sleeper hold. So it gets this instant credibility if, whoa, if Samoa Joe gets you in the coquina clutch, it's over. And we haven't even seen, what is it, the fisherman's suplex thing that he,
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it.
Sit out senton or whatever it's called.
No,
The muscle buster. The muscle buster.
Yeah, we haven't even seen the muscle buster yet. So there's a lot more to Joe, which I think they're handling great. But the big thing on Raw for me, second big thing on Raw, and it's the title of this week's episode, Braun. Yo, did you hear that pop he got?
Oh yeah. Braun! That's what I'm talking about, son. Your boy comes back and he wrecks shop. This is what Raw needs to get in the ratings, man. All we need is Braun Strowman to destroy Roman Reigns. It doesn't matter how many times we see it. It's just a beautiful thing. Throwing Roman Reigns and almost knocking over the ambulance during that thrust. Come on, man. Give me some of that every day.
So how cool would it be when LeBron James comes out and the powder thing he does, where he puts the powder before the games, put the powders on his hands and spreads them out in the air? What if he yelled out when he threw the powder out, LeBron? NBA needs more wrestling. If you don't believe it, catch the podcast from last week where we did some draft coverage. So I loved Braun Strowman coming back. You noticed he teased the ambulance thing coming back, but my concern is that Braun is over now because he's fighting Roman, but after Roman, I don't because he's getting great pops. I just don't know. I mean, think about it. His major push and the pops that he gets might be over in a week and a half. You think?
I don't think so, man. I honestly, I think that after he destroys Roman Reigns, which I feel like he's going to do, going to be the one to take the strap off of the champ, Brock Lesnar. Yeah, SummerSlam. And that's just going to be total and utter destruction both ways. And we already know that. And I think this is what makes it so compelling for me, is that we've already seen Braun Strowman wrestle big guys, and it's been entertaining as hell. Like, those two matches that he had with the Big Show was flipping fantastic, man. Regardless of what you feel about the Big Show, you guys stay tuned and you guys watched it, and I don't remember hearing anybody complaining about it whatsoever. So I'm excited for SummerSlam, man. SummerSlam is shaping up to be amazing.
So what would you do? How awesome would it be? What would you do if a contender to Brock Lesnar's title, he comes out, beats up Brock Lesnar, and maybe hits a low blow, but he beats up Brock Lesnar, reverses an F5 into his finisher, and he's leaving. But then he comes back and gives the "I'm not through with you yet" to Lesnar of all people. Dude, do you know how big that would be? I would mark out bad. If he does the "I'm not through with you yet" to Lesnar, he gives him the Roman Reigns treatment. Oh, that'd be bad news. Barrett, that'd be bad news.
They need to make the shirt, son.
I'd wear that shirt. Oh, man, 24/7. You know who I'm starting to get into on Raw?
Who's that?
I'm starting to really get into Elias Sampson.
Dude, I've been saying this for weeks, man. This guy's got it, man. He has got it. I don't know, man. I feel like he might be champion before Finn Balor becomes a repeat champ, man, the way that they're building him.
Well, yeah. You know what? So do we need to put, and I want to hear from you guys watching in the chat, please. Do we need to put Finn Balor, because he still has the demon and he's got the cool entrance and he's good in the ring? Does he already get put into that kind of Randy Orton that you don't need a title to be over? Is Finn Balor in that? Because his entrance is cool. We haven't seen the demon and he could go in the ring. So does he really need Is he in that same echelon as Randy Orton? And maybe now I'd say, and I'm not saying as popular or as good, but like Randy Orton doesn't really need a title to be over. John Cena, Shawn Michaels later in his career. And again, I'm not saying Finn Balor's as good as Shawn Michaels, but you hit a point, Dolph Ziggler, where you don't need to have a championship to still be really, really good. So is Finn Balor at that point?
I feel like it's too soon, man. Like, it's I don't know. I guess if WWE, the first sign that the WWE would feel that way is if they put him in the mid card to fight against the Intercontinental belt, and I don't feel that they've done that yet. But I think that they're just waiting to cash in on the Demon. But are they going to wait until Survivor Series to do that, or I don't see him coming out as a Demon and at SummerSlam. There's no real build unless somehow they reform the club. I mean,
you've been saying that for weeks, and Anderson and the Magic Killer and Gallows, I'm sorry, but they're just not doing it for me. They're decent maybe in NJPW, but not in WWE. Maybe they could fight the Ascension. Maybe Gallows and Anderson, your club can. Matter of fact, I'll say this. I would rather see, before I get to some comments in the chat, and chat, let me know what you think about this. Wrestling Network, Stephen Thatch, Mel Johnson, let me know what you think. Who would you rather see right now? Gallows and Anderson in a tag match against whoever, or the Miz Taraj, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. Who would you rather see? Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas in bear costumes? Or, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. I'd rather see Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas at this point. I know my boy Ringo Flake would.
Yeah, he's missing just like oh shoot, I messed that one up.
Yep,
he missed like my. Oh geez, make sure you shorten that out when you edit, bro.
Nope.
He missing on the back of the line like my boy Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, man.
Oh, yeah, where's Ty Dillinger at? Where is Ty Dillinger?
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is just ridiculous now. I have no words for it, man. I'm in utter distraught. I'm befuddled. I don't know what the hell is going on with Ty Dillinger. I haven't heard of any reports of him being injured or anything like that. Maybe they gotta try to repackage him and make him a heel wrestler. I don't know, but
no, he's over. He could even have a couple squash matches. There's plenty of people to squash on Raw and SmackDown. So, I mean, me personally, I just don't know about the club thing. I think that it's past its mark. We talked about a week or two ago. Is it going to fail like the NWO failed? So there's just guys who don't, like AJ Styles. He doesn't need a title to be just amazing. Who cares at this point? Who cares if he has a title or not? You're going to watch his matches, no matter what. And I think that some people enhance the title and they bring prestige to it because they're on a hot streak. So like the Miz, for example, the IC champ. The Miz won our awards. Shot back there or what?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think someone got cut off or something, and now they're running out in the streets. I think they butt naked. Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's what happens when you film.
They run it. Y'all cover y'all's eyes. They coming this way. Hey man, I'm recording the show, homie. You gotta go that way. Yeah, that way. Okay. All right. Sorry, man. Not trying to get that E stamp, guys.
We're not going to try to tell you where Sage films these things or records these things, but I mean, the Miz.
Tell me, baby.
The Miz this week had a crazy week. He had the Ball family segment.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
How bad was that? Just all right. Go ahead, talk. Just talk. I'm gonna leave this one up to you. That segment was so bad.
I don't even know where to begin with this thing, man. I felt so bad for the Miz, man. This dude clowning around, coming down the ring. Was this LeVar? Forgive me, man, because this dude wasn't big enough for me to even remember him. But is he a basketball player or a football player?
So he played football and he did play some basketball, and I think he averaged 2 points a game.
Oh, jeez, man. And he says he's better than
He's
Jordan.
horrible.
This dude comes clowning around, running into the ring like he's John Cena, and feels like a fish with his leg up, and it was coming in all cool, man. And him and the Miz had a good conversation going on and everything like that. And then this dude just like he flipped out like he was Mankind, like the music just hit or something like that, and he just went off flipping crazy, man. This dude and the Miz, man, he was just sitting there. He was trying to make chicken salad, man, but this guy was just wilding out. And then he telling his son to go talk on the mic. Why you give a 15-year-old a live mic, man? This dude trying to act like Booker T coming out with get this, get it. Oh man, I did like how the New Day made fun of that the next night, though. That was classic.
They did. That was one of the worst segments I've ever seen. I thought it could have been good if the Ball family stayed on track and didn't have that whoop that at. Didn't have the 15-year-old kid going off. It could have worked out well if LeVar Ball, you know what? The Big Baller brand has signed a new member, Dean Ambrose, and it led into the hype, and he introduced Dean Ambrose. I thought that it could have went really well, like, and maybe even sold some shirts for those guys or something. I thought that it could have went really, really well, but no, it gets a flop. It's not the Miz or Dean Ambrose fault, I'll tell you that, but it wasn't, to me, entertaining at all. It was entertaining, but for all the wrong reasons. What do you think Vince McMahon was back there? Do you think Vince McMahon, when the segment started, was like, oh, what is this, you son of a bitch?
I think he took a piss break or something, man. Because, I mean, if they were quick to cut off the pipe bomb mic, man, why in the hell would they quick enough to cut this guy's mic off, man? I don't understand, man. Unless these guys like paid money to be able to talk or something, like this should have ended like as soon as he took off his shirt. That mic should have been cut, like period. It should have been cut.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I think that.
Yeah.
What do you think Enzo and Cass are? When are they going to fight? Are they going to fight at SummerSlam? Do you care that they're going to fight?
I'm more interested to see what they do with them after they split up. I know that you want Enzo to go to 205 Live, but I am interested to see where Cass ends up. I feel like that after he splits, I think that Cass might go to SmackDown at some form or fashion, so that way that he could be, with Carmella. That way their travel schedules are a little bit more similar, because like SmackDown right now is in Singapore. They were in Tokyo or Japan. They were in Japan on like Wednesday.
Wait, where's Singapore? I don't know anything about geography. I thought
Singapore
it was in
India. It's somewhere near there. Oh, but
you don't know either. You don't know either.
I do. If you gave me a map, I'll see it, man. It's in Asia, man.
Of course you would. Of course you would see it if I gave you a map. I could see anywhere if I gave you a map. Where's it at in Asia? Where's Singapore at? Is it near the Philippines? Did you know the Middle East is in Asia?
Is it really? Or is it part of Eurasia?
I don't know what Eurasia is. I don't know anything about geography.
Yo, Singapore is west of Japan. It is south of Russia and east of Germany.
What the hell what is that? That's nothing. That's like saying, hey, man, Where's Seguin, Texas? Oh, well, you know, it's just outside of San Antonio, a little bit further from Houston, but not too far. Well, a little bit farther from Dallas, but not too far from Corpus. That doesn't tell you anything. Obviously, you know. You know what? I'm gonna give props. Stephen Thatch just solved our riddle. Singapore is 2 hours west of PH. What the hell is PH?
Philippines, son.
Oh. All right, the Philippines. It's 2 hours west of the Philippines.
They should have never gave this jigga money.
Yeah. The only thing I remember about the Philippines is the Black Eyed Peas had a song, Bebo, 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 and that was about girls in the Philippines because the one dude's Filipino, and the name of the song I think was Filipino. Well, have we? Yeah. Either which way, the WWE was in Singapore. I think Chris Jericho made that tour. So I think that, man, if I was watching WWE in Singapore, you probably got a hell of a show. You probably got it stacked. Now, next week, John Cena comes back. He's technically a free agent, so let's call it now. Where does he end up, Raw or SmackDown?
I don't think it's whether or not he's going to SmackDown or Raw. I think it's that he's going to face somebody from Raw at SummerSlam.
Who?
My guess would be Roman Reigns. I don't think Roman Reigns is going to have anything to do by SummerSlam.
No, that's a good point. I didn't think about. You know, yeah, that would pretty much stack up the card because as much as I don't think we're going to leave the match saying this was one of the greatest matches of all time. But I will say the entertainment factor, it's Hogan versus Warrior. It's this generation's Hogan versus Warrior, Rock versus Cena. You have no clue who's going to win. Technically, and both of me, yeah, that could be a big match because both of them get the 50-50 boos. Roman probably 75-25. And where is SummerSlam? Where's Is it in LA?
I have no clue where it's at. Anybody in the chat know, hit us up and let us know where SummerSlam's going to be.
I think it's in Los Angeles.
Might be. That'd be interesting.
No, wait a minute. Isn't it? It's in Brooklyn.
It's in Brooklyn. It's in Brooklyn, dude. I forgot. They always have SummerSlam in Brooklyn, at least since they've had an NXT.
Yeah, because it's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, or NXT Brooklyn TakeOver or whatever. NXT TakeOver 3 Brooklyn. So that means SummerSlam. Oh, you got a lot of marks. Brooklyn has a lot of marks. Brooklyn's got the marks. Not saying.
I mean, if you want people to see, that there's no better place to do it than the Barclays Center. Shout out to the Wrestling Network for that. Appreciate you guys having our back. And welcome back. We haven't seen y'all in like almost 2 months, man. Welcome back.
Wait a minute. Stephen Thatch put in the chat Kevin Owens. So he thinks Cena's going to fight Kevin Owens? But they just had a pro, and then he said they set that up on Talking Smack. But I feel like they had a big feud in 2016. So I would put more weight on him fighting Roman Reigns, especially since if he loses to Reigns, he can go back to being part-time. As a matter of fact, so we could officially say Cena's part-time now, right?
Yeah.
100%.
He's part-time. He's on that Lesnar schedule.
Man, I wish I could be on that schedule. If I could only go to work every now and again. So earlier in the chat, and me and you were talking before we went live today, I didn't get to watch it, but let's go ahead and review it. I think it was the Wrestling Network. No, it wasn't the Wrestling Network. Mel Johnson was telling me that there was a women's match on NXT this week that I missed.
Yeah.
What'd I miss?
Yes. So this is first off, this is NXT's first event with Mauro Ranallo on there. So we're definitely glad to have Mauro Ranallo back. You could already feel the energy and the surge of energy back in the product, and God, it's so good to have him. For that. But it was Asuka versus Nikki Cross for the title, and oh my goodness, dude, this match was amazing. It was a no holds bar, falls count anywhere I mean, technically speaking, it was a match, but this was flipping amazing. If you guys have not seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, to be honest with you. But we a review show. Asuka won the title. I mean, kept the title, but that's not the story, man. The story is that these two women can work. They can go in the ring. This just shows you why they are the closer. And it makes me wonder, Goose, is Asuka the greatest champion?
You know, they're building her up that way in NXT. And I like that she's winning these matches. Because whenever, I mean, let's face it, we've got it ingrained in our heads that whenever you win an NXT title, you're going to lose it soon and get called up. Because that's the thing we all think about is, oh, well, who are they fighting? They're probably going to lose and get called up. But with Bobby Roode, who just beat, well, I won't say it. With Bobby Roode and Asuka, they're beating everybody in NXT. So traditionally speaking, with the exception of Kevin Owens, you lose the title, then get called up. You don't have the title and then get called up. So, I mean, she's nowhere on the level of being called the greatest yet because she's still got to go through the WWE. And she might be somebody. Remember, we talked about the worries of Nakamura when the act gets old, which it hasn't yet. But when the act gets old, he might not be as great. Well, with Asuka, she has a harder struggle because the women don't get as much man time on TV. So she could be good, but I don't know. I think we're still about 2 or 3 years away from saying that.
Yeah, I can see that, man. Just her matches have been 5-star matches since she's held the belt. She's elevated everyone that she's gone against. I mean, everyone. She's a great worker. I have her. She's definitely someone to watch, man. Definitely someone to watch, and I cannot wait until she makes the main roster. Although I like her where she is right now, but I get it. NXT is supposed to be short term, but I can't wait till she makes the main roster. So, but speaking of women, and this is probably going to be our last segment of the night, guys. Raw ended with the gauntlet match, and it was I thoroughly enjoyed it. But two things. One, I wanted to get your opinion, Goose, on what you felt about the gauntlet match overall and the booking. And I want to play a little game afterwards.
Okay, I don't have much to say about it other than I'll be upfront. It made Nia Jax look really strong, and that was my favorite part. Even though Sasha Banks got the win at the end, it made Nia Jax look strong. What about you?
I agree. I didn't like the fact that Sasha won, but I think that that's just the mark in me. No slight on Sasha. I love Sasha, but I was so invested in Nia Jax, and I guess that's what the point of her running the gauntlet is for her to look strong, to look great. Some of the squashes, I dare say, I wish I wish they weren't squashes. I wish that they would have, been a little bit longer. And that's kind of what I want to play a little game, man, a little fantasy booking, man. So we had 4 competitors go against Nia Jax, and I want you, Goose, and everyone that's listening on the chat, and if you listen to the audio podcast, y'all hit IRWP, hashtag IRWP on any platform, because I want to hear from you. All 4 of them, I want you to run a gauntlet match against Nia Jax, with Nia Jax winning, but with any woman in the history of wrestling, current and past, who would you have had go against Nia Jax?
And lose?
And each match, they gave them like 5 or 6 minutes for each match.
Trish Stratus, Chyna. Trish Stratus, Chyna, Charlotte. And I'll just keep it at 4. Trish Stratus, Chyna, Charlotte, Asuka. and I'll keep it at those 4.
Perfect, man. Yeah, that's good, man. I would probably have went with. Definitely would have went with Trish Stratus. Probably would have went with her first. I would have loved to see her go against Victoria. To be honest with you, I think that they could have really had a real rough match. That would be fun, especially since I don't think Victoria would have been able to put her in the Black
No,
Widow.
not at all.
Yeah, at all.
Widow's Peak. Yeah.
Yeah, the Widow's Peak. But that would have been amazing. Sarita, which probably don't know who she is, but she's from TNA. She's actually one of the coaches in NXT, which is weird that we haven't seen her on screen, but she's a phenomenal wrestler. She's kind of like the Mexican version of Kana, in my opinion. And then I would have ended it with Kana at the end, or Asuka at the end. I would have loved those 4 to run the gauntlet with Nia Jax.
So Mel Johnson in the chat put Trish Lita, AJ, Tori. Tori, good throwback. Really good throwback. Former DX member. Or Gail Kim. No, he took Tori off. He would have said Gail Kim. I thought the Tori reference was good. It's a nice little X-Pac Days throwback. X-Pac and Kane as a tag team Days throwback. So this week in wrestling, it was pretty good. Had its ups, had its downs. I think SmackDown came up short a little bit against Raw, but no knock on them. It's just because a couple guys didn't wrestle. I don't have anything else this week. What else you got for this week?
And then you want to peace out after that?
Yeah, that was a good question. It was a nice little cliffhanger. On who do you got? And we got some good participation today in the chat. We had a live person show up. That was wow. For those of y'all listening, it was literally where Sage the Mark records this is at a public place, and that was 100% real. 100% real. That wasn't fake or anything. So, do you have any shout outs you want to give for the week?
Oh,
do we have any shout outs out there?
How about you run through the list in the room, and then I will get everyone from the Twitter sphere.
Sure thing. So the list in the room, nice and easy. Let's start it off easy. Mel Johnson, it was really good hearing from you. Appreciate your frequent feedback. Stephen Thatch, as always, good to hear from you. And the Wrestling Network. Make sure to go follow those 3 guys, all on YouTube. It's real simple. They'll have links, comments, descriptions, smash the like buttons, and all that wonderful good stuff on those guys. Excellent. It's just really good to hear back from people in the chat, as always. What do you got on the Twitter feed?
Perfect, man. And if y'all want that shout out as well, y'all hit us up at Real WrestleCast on Twitter. Excuse me. Whoa. But let's go through this list on Twitter here. We want to thank our Rhodes source, Mike Bierman, Jeff Wellen, who is one of the editors down in Florida. Thank you guys so much for communicating with us, liking, being interactive with us. We appreciate that. Global Canvas Club, the FN Podcast Saver. Thank you so much. The Diva Bible. I mean, you guys already know we hit that guy up every week. So, Erica, thank you so much on Twitter. King Cups Mobile, first time talking about the Nia Jax coming out party. Couldn't agree with you more, my friend. Ashley Stanley, thank you so much. She enjoyed episode 33 and said, guys, keep up the good work. So, Ashley Stanley, thank you so much. Roxanne Trembler, she wasn't a fan of the commercials during the women's match on SmackDown. I've got to agree. And then H. Hernandez and Sherry, Jason Friedbach, H. Hernandez, Logan Meter. Thank you so much for the communication, guys, for the likes. The Low Blow Podcast, thank you so much for being a subscriber. Welcome to the movement, my friend. Morris Podcast, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the movement. Y'all be sure to go check out their podcast as well. Great guys. Rob, thank you so much. And then Deb LaFavor, thank you so much for, we got 3 here. We got Deb LaFavor. We've got Create with 2 A's. And we've got Rob. Rob actually subscribed. So thank you guys so much for communicating with us, for liking, subscribing to our channel. Thank you guys so much. And if you are listening to this podcast and you are not subscribed to us podcast. Was it Twitter? Well, you obviously you are on podcast, but on Twitter, just hit us up at Real WrestleCast or just visit our website, IRWP.us, for all the credentials.
Sure thing. Yeah, sure thing. You went ahead and covered pretty much 90% of the show with that. We should just give shout outs from now on. Just make a show and say, man, Raw was good, SmackDown was good. Now let's get to some shout outs. So you want to follow me, Ben Goosen, on Twitter, Ben_Goosen on Twitch. I'm going to start Twitch streaming because I'm terrible at Rocket League, so I could use people's advice and recommendations. Like Sage Mark said, IRWP.us. I don't have anything much more to say. What do you got, Sage? Anything left?
I ain't got nothing left, man. Hopefully, this live from the city, from the streets of San Antonio, acting like I'm homeless, you know, whatever's. Hopefully, this will be the last week we'll get the studio going. But if not, we'll see you here next week, guys. Thank you so much for the love and support. Love one another, cherish one another. Y'all keep it real.
Yep. Have a good weekend, everybody. 4th of July next week. Have a good 4th. Have a happy and safe 4th. Remember, world peace. Keep it peaceful. Say what up to somebody. You know what? Don't even say what's up to somebody. Just go ahead and find yourself another wrestling fan, because you know how us wrestling fans do. We all bond and stick together. So, like Sage the Mark said, keep it real.
We want the gold, sucker!